Podcast pod. I like the aggressive start sometimes, just to wake everyone up. It's like Evanescence. Wake me up inside. That's like the song of my generation. Nah,
Okay.
not really. Hey, if you had to say what the song of your generation was, what is it?
Song of my generation. Well, song of my generation. For me and my mates, probably something Blink 182.
Oh
What's
yeah,
age
I was
again?
thinking 50 Cent in the club, but yeah, all that sort of
Like
early
there's a lot of punk
2000s,
rock,
late
a lot of
90s.
rap. Sort of, man, we used to listen to like I remember. Shout out to Biggie and Bordy. Used to drive around in Biggie's grandma's old Ford. I can't remember what it was called, but we called it Old Bet, Betsy. So Old Bet, and we used to cruise around in Old Bet, just absolutely pumping the Up in Smoke tour with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem.
So good. That 2001 album from Dre, hectic. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing driving through, what is the sound of your generation? Is it Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name of? Is it Offspring, Smash? Is it Taylor Swift? Hey, it's all good. I do love myself some Taylor Swift, actually. But moving on, we're talking about conversion rates today. And I think it's an interesting discussion, and whether this is an incredibly hard thing to measure. Let's face it, a conversion rate. And not only is it incredibly hard to keep track of,
What are we measuring?
yeah, what are we converting? We're winning. We're talking about quote conversion rate. So it's like, what percentage of the jobs should you be winning? Could you be winning? Would you be winning? Do you even need to measure it? At what point does it become a factor? I think it's worth considering. Now, like this is interesting, and I think conversion rate takes on a couple of metrics for me. Overarching, you can't really have a blanket rule. Oh, it should be converting 70% or 60% or 50%. It's a better question is like, if you've got a 10 out of 10 conversion rate, let's say you're sending 10 quotes and you're winning them, it might mean your price is too low. It might mean you're the cheapest person in the room and everyone's like, I got to get that deal. Like it's like an end of financial year deal. I got to pounce on that and get that person to put my TV in or whatever job you're doing. And the flip side, if you've got a 10 out of 10 conversion rate, it can also mean we've found and located our ideal clients. We've found and located our ideal pricing structure. Our product has remained good, consistent, great, excellent for the last 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 30 years. And we're in the zone. So they call, I do, 10 out of 10. Or cheap price, please do, 10 out of 10. So I think it just opens up the can of worms to who are you pricing the job for? Where is the lead coming in? I want to talk about that in a second, the lead, but pricing the job for quality clients. Cat.
Echo, echo, echo. No, very similar, very similar. It tells you a lot what what are you converting. Like, so yeah, if it's 100%, yeah, too cheap. Or you could just have really excellent clients that you are working for. I think it's an interesting one to measure and track. Some people do it, some people don't. I'm not going to say here you have to do it or don't have to do it. I think it's something you need to be aware of, though. I definitely think you need to be aware of it 100%. And I think this all ties in for me a little bit around just full stop knowing your numbers. Let's insert your there. So knowing your numbers, not just knowing numbers, understanding numbers, it's knowing your numbers. The importance around that is that your numbers are going to tell you whether you're making the money or not, right? So if you're quoting and winning everything, but you don't know your numbers, that's probably a little bit concerning for me. If you're not back costing, again, also concerning for me. I think there's a lot of things here that could potentially be concerning me if you don't know your numbers, right? So really, really important to have an understanding around your numbers foundationally, because then also too, this can also lead you to having an understanding around where the market, where within the market you're sitting and what you need to be working towards in a, I guess, generalized sense of, hey, where do I fit within the market? Now, there's different markets to be different playing in. There's resi service, there's commercial service, there's construction, there's automation, there's IT data, all those sorts of bits and pieces. So they all have different markets that you need to be playing. And I think it's really important, I go back to it, is understanding where your numbers sit in it. Now, one thing here that I think is interesting is to not undervalue or underplay the importance of getting the ideal clients who are providing you the repeat work, right? So, first step that we want to be looking at here that I feel is extremely important is knowing your numbers first, which, and if I haven't said that enough already in this podcast, I'm going to say it one more time.
I feel like every one of our podcasts could just be entitled Know Your Numbers. It'd be so confusing if you had to actually look one up, though. But I think we
Knowing
always
your
talk
numbers.
about it because, and if you come into our program, our platform, not just that, if you come into both of our businesses, you'd see that it's the top thing you look at, your numbers, because if you get them right or wrong, all the questions below serve that above number. So your numbers show you who you're working for, who you're working with. If you're incredibly optimistic in pricing, what your overheads are, what your gross profit is, what your net profit is, what your profit per hour is. They tell you everything.
Minute per second.
Profit per second. Actually, got to finish this podcast so I can go make some money. It's so good. Yeah, it's absolutely like everything comes
Yeah,
downstream, top of the food chain, numbers.
100%. And the numbers part there, I do want to then move into. I did touch on it just before around the client that you have who gives that repeat work. So know your numbers fundamentally, then understanding who the clients you're working for and getting those clients. I call them gold star, gold standard clients because it is the area, and I will redefine it. The gold star means it's like this is the type of work that we want to be doing, and the gold standard is hey, do they align with us ultimately? So do they, morals, ethics, whatever you want to call it, but also do they pay? Do they talk to you like you're a person, not a dog, sort of thing? Like these little things, because you can have a gold star client, as in the work's amazing, but they're pretty average standard. So it could be a bronze standard, for example. And for me, my goal always is to get the gold. So we want the double double. We want to be a dual gold medal winning Olympian. You want both. So really, really important there with that particular type of client who then starts giving you that repeat work and it's coming in. So naturally your conversion rate is going to be pretty good, right? It might not be 100% because I know I've worked for people and I'm pretty sure Crowe has as well, where it's like, hey, we're not exclusive. So we're in an open relationship. But it's a risk management thing from that particular client's point of view. It's like, hey, we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. So we use a couple of businesses for each trade. It just helps us with our spread of work and risk management side of things. And that's okay. Like, because I've worked with some really excellent people and excellent clients where you share the workload basically with another business. And to me, that's okay because also too, from a business point of view, I've looked at it as well as like, man, if we got 100% of their work, that's probably starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable from my point of view of all our eggs in one basket because it's the diversification part of it. Like if something happened on that front, we may be affected in a way that is not okay. So two things there with that can affect the conversion rate is obviously knowing your numbers, right? And then also the type of client that you are pricing towards or giving you work to the repeat.
Yeah, agree. And then also assess where the leads are coming from. Are they coming from Facebook ads? Are they repeat clients? Are they cold calls? You might be like, oh, Google ads convert at this. You might be like, repeat clients convert at 100%. Repeat clients pass. Who do your ideal clients know? Chances are more of your ideal clients. That's the chances. So if you're giving in a referral, maybe that's 100%. So you have a look at it and you'd be like, I always was a big believer. You're always looking about where you're wasting your time and where you can sharpen your pencil as a business owner or operations team to sharpen the time management. So if you're consistently quoting for the wrong people and you're not keeping an eye on the conversion rate, well, hey, you're going to consistently keep wasting everyone's time. I just spoke to someone this morning. who basically this is huge, right? They and I love this guy, and I said this to him to his face, say it to his face. I said, and I was like, okay, so he saw a job. He didn't look at a job and quoted it, and he should have looked at the job. So that was huge. You couldn't quote it. So the reflection is there. Don't quote if you can't see it, right? But then he quoted the job for 2 hours, back and forth for a couple of hours. Probably wasted another couple of
Quote
hours.
you can see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he probably wasted 8 to 12 hours by quoting a job he didn't see and didn't get the job. So I was like, okay, that's a self-inflicted pain here. So you should have cut it off at the knees at that point, right? Lightsaber Darth Vader style. Cut it off early. You go, okay, if I can't get decided, I can't quote it. But all the best. Sweet. Like that's such a fair conversation to have. That would save me 10 hours. So how much of getting the right clients in the front door is going to save you 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 hours? So many busy business owners complain about the lack of time when in fact a lot of the time we're spending is a bit of self-inflicted pain. And that you can trace that back to like, oh, I don't have a good job notes into my job management system or scheduling system or whatever. So, okay, sweet. How much time is lost in just collating that information that should be there when you look at it? It's absolutely huge. But assess where your leads are coming from. Assess the type of lead. Like, are they quality? Are they time wasters? Is a certain type of referral or a certain type of something? I remember this one guy, I think I shared this in another pod. He was like, we had to do this job for him and he wanted it discounted. And I'd already talked about how much it was going to be. And I was like, mate, if that's what you want to do, just pay whatever you think's fair, which I think you just got to resolve that swiftly. Just bang, resolve, done. And he was like, you don't know, you've just missed out on all my, I'm not referring you to anyone or something like this. It was one of my like rare glitches in the matrix. And I said to him, if your friends are anything like you, we don't want to work for them. I was like, shouldn't have probably crossed a bit of a line there. Like for me, I don't love crossing those lines, but it was true. And
Was it safe to say it was heated, the conversation?
No, maybe a little bit, but okay, this is interesting as well. Conversion rates. Is there any rhyme or reason to ones that are converting? So a lot of times you give yourself the highest percentage of conversion if you're quoting on site, if possible, or quoting on time. Your general rule of thumb should be on time or on site. So if you can get it out on site, do it. Sometimes it's not possible. Cool, let's get it out on time. Now that's going to increase it. So was it for me looking at a quote follow-up process, which is going to change depending if you're quoting for a builder or a commercial client or whatever. But generally speaking, a phone call upon sending is fantastic. Hey, just letting you know I've done this. It's coming in 3 options. It's coming in 1 option. It's landing about here. Now when they open the quote, they're not just scrolling bottom right to the price. Now, hey, it's coming in at this point. I've itemized it out really clearly. Have a read through. Let's touch base this afternoon. I think that is such a huge thing. Now, ironically, all your best clients, you'll be converting at 100% and there'll be no quote follow-up process. You know what I mean? Ironically, like the best kind of person you do things for, that you will say, and they'll be like, cool. That's perfect, but still got to tie a bit of a knot around there.
Or you give them a price and then don't hear back from them, and you call them, they're like,
I thought you were here.
I didn't say yes. Yeah, of course. Like, why is it not done?
Yeah, what are you guys doing? So, but I think that's interesting. Like, try and compare your best clients to your average clients to the not so good ones. So, what is the rhyme or reason with the best ones? Because a lot of times dealing with them is actually quite easy. And a lot of times dealing with the people that are really difficult are not the ideal clients. Not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time. But yeah, ask yourself, is there a rhyme or reason? Are we converting because of this? Or are we not converting because of that? This is huge as well. Am I not converting because I don't have the resources? So you can reference that to service, like emergency service work, or even like a project. If you're quoting large projects or commercial jobs, and you got a team of 2 or 3, if I'm that person running that job, I might be like, oh, I don't know if these people can handle it. Or if someone calls you to sort of come out relatively urgently and you can't service it, then it might be a staffing issue. You don't have the staff required to either handle the larger staff, or you don't have the available staff short term to get there and just get it done. That is an absolute huge capacity or capability, or whatever you want to, or accessibility to staff is unbelievably huge to that. Could there have been better questions asked in the quote stage? Could you have asked for more information? Should you have gone to site like I was saying before? And every one you lose is an opportunity to learn. So why did I lose that one? And it's not about like you might not find a rhyme or reason to a specific, like maybe everyone's a little bit different in terms of, or every job is a little bit different, but maybe there's 5 things you can do every time. Ask some really good questions before you quote it. Call upon sending the quote, follow it up with a phone call just to make sure everything made sense and see if they want to go ahead. I'm massive on like no sales tactic. The sales tactic is honesty, quote on time, reputation. That's what the sale is in my head. Do I need to talk to the who's the boss of this house? You can get all that sales stuff can get stuffed in my very humble opinion. Maybe I could have asked a budget question. Maybe I could have said, "Hey, is there a budget here?" "Oh, yeah, it's 5 grand." "Oh, cool. I'm going to be unable to do that for that point." Maybe I could have asked better questions about the supply of materials. Too often, early in my quoting stage, I was, "Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do that. Yeah, 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 yeah." All of a sudden, the quote,
Everyone gets a car.
yeah, 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 yeah. You get a downlight. You get 2 downlights. You get a dimmer. And it's quite too expensive. And it's like, oh, we didn't know that. Yeah, we're not going ahead. So I was like, okay, sweet. Well, maybe I could have asked better questions about, is there a budget? What did you want me to prioritize in this quote? And sometimes there's no budget. And sometimes there's a clear, linear, critical pathway that has to be followed budget wise. And then sometimes you can ask for feedback. Like, did I lose it to someone else? Was it a better system, better price? I don't love doing that to the regular punter, but I remember one guy, we worked for this builder who, like you were mentioning before, Cam, he had a couple of other people that would price. Very normal at a certain stage. It's very uncommon. It's not completely uncommon, but usually those people you'd be pricing against a couple other Sparkies at that point. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we're giving one to you, one to them, one to you, one to them, one to you, one to them." This other company around that area was a similar size, and the builder didn't want to put all their eggs in one basket because then we've monopolized them. And I think they've got to price check you when the quotes are 50 to 400 grand. Like it's very common to get a second opinion on that. I would suggest also. If we had all their work, we might not be able to service it. And that's extremely worrying for a builder or a commercial client if they can't get you because you're at their other job. It's like I'm prioritizing you, but I can't service your jobs. So it's a huge thing. But yeah, that's my sort of like
Yeah, like it. That's
version
good. Yeah.
profile.
So, a couple of things there that I have a look at too is like the can't see it, can't quote it theory. I think rings really true. I also have a look at a bit of a, particularly if you're doing a fair bit of service and maintenance style work and you can't get to every single situation. I think utilizing technology these days is great. I have a bit of a sort of theory that I run by, and I was actually just talking about it to one of our members before. If the client can't be bothered to send me a photo, or the photos that we need to be able to get them the information, well, then why should I be bothered just whipping a price out of thin air? Because it's very hard to be like, hey, oh, you want that replaced, but I don't know, or we need to install this, but I don't know where it is or what it looks like because a picture tells 1,000 words. And like, I've literally had some jobs where you get a photo or 2 photos and literally the context of it all just comes to fruition. It's like, oh, yeah, sweet, that makes sense now. It also, too, can give you the option of potentially declining it as well to be like, oh, that's not the type of work that we're interested in doing. And that's okay as well if that's not the type of work that you're doing. So can't see it, can't quote it. I do sort of stand by that a little bit because it's like, what are you actually pricing? Because then what happens is you generally get your pants pulled down, which is not great. Budget is really good to take into account, which you touched on there, Crowe. One thing I like to have a look at and probably finish here with is the presentation, the way you present your quote, your estimate, your proposal, whatever you want to call it. I do love the word proposal. However, the way you present it, because it may give you an option to present it in a way that it's digestible, particularly if there's a budget that you've asked them about to be like, hey, look, I know you've asked for ABC to EFG, and you have also told me that your budget is X. If you want all of it, it's not going to fit within your budget, but it's also not my place to make the decision for them. But it is my responsibility to give them the options and understanding of where the cost lies. Now, you could just be like, nah, man, I'm just a bottom line person, and that's okay. But I feel if you adopt that mentality to everything, you're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table because it may just be a breakdown of the particular areas or tasks that you're working on the particular job to be like, hey, if you want, these 4 items in the pool house, that's what they are. And if you want these 10 items over in the main house, that's what this is. And if you want the garage stuff done, this is what they would be. So you're now giving the consumer the option of being able to make their decision. So I think presentation is really, really big and to take that into consideration when you're putting together the information to the client.
Yeah, I've chucked a few more notes in here as well. Response time, take into consideration that. So if clients call in the morning and then you get back to them in 3 working days and 2 full moons, yeah, probably, so if they send an email response and you miss it. So once again, coming back to, was there a rhyme or reason to the ones that actually converted? Usually response time is huge. By the time they call, you've got back to them. It's back and forth a few times. Like there's no, you're not making it difficult for the customer. It's a great question. Put yourself in the customer's shoes and how difficult was dealing with your company. And I remember saying to this one person one day, oh, we don't really, sorry, we don't really check emails. And this is when I was like really busy first starting out. And they will just genuinely ask the question, why do you have an online email, online, what do you call it? Form on your
Yeah,
website. Why do you have that then? And I was like, that's a really
touche.
good question. let me just ask someone and get back to you about that. Let me buy myself some time. But I was like, that's a good question. Why don't I? And usually the answer is I'm too busy. And that answer alone is a hiring indicator. You need to hire an admin or a field staff member. If you can't service something, it might be a hiring indicator. So it's huge. And so am I being too difficult? And the other thing with that is you know, coming into sort of, let's just say when people start to outsource their operations to an admin or an operations manager. So sometimes it can just be incredibly annoying for the client. So the client calls up and the admin answers and they don't really know what they're talking about. I've got to get, Brett to come look at this quote. And then, Brett will call you back this afternoon and Brett doesn't get back to you. So all of a sudden I called an admin, I confused them. They didn't have the answers. Then they try to pass me off to someone else. If they call me back, they didn't call me back. Or they did call me back, but it was too late because I'd already got the answer from someone else and solved it and moved on. So I feel like if you're going to have a front end admin, they have to have an element of ability to solve most issues or be able to be in an office with someone to pass it on to them to solve the issue. Yes, 100%. They're both getting interrupted. Anyone front end answering phone calls is going to be interrupted and their day is going to be a little bit in the abyss. They have 4 billable hours or 8 billable hours. Who knows how many phone calls they answer. And it's very hard to get momentum on a task when you consistently stop and start. But if you're stop and starting, but you're converting really well, like you don't want to basically do all the hard work, put all the product and reputation and materials and all the excellent stuff into everything you're doing, only to get a phone call and lose a job because that part's not right. I've done all the hard part really well, but they just didn't get a return phone call. They just didn't get an email response. They just got a difficult person on the other end or someone that couldn't solve their issues. You would have been better off not answering the phone. You'd be better off not having a phone number sometimes. So I always think try and ask yourself, and you don't want to be self-critical, but you want to be critical to the point where you can change if you need to. You want to be like, okay, what should I have done differently? What could I have done differently? What would I do differently? And then I'll skin the cat differently next time. So basically any mistake in your business has the opportunity to shine a light on something that's not as good as it could be. And then once we shine a light on it, we can be like, oh, that just needs a rough-in checklist, a fit-off checklist. That admin just needs a script. Okay, sweet. Is the job predictable? Is it residential? Bang, bang, bang. Your estimation is this. Does that sound reasonable? Cool. I'll have someone be in touch. So you just So just try and work out where you're tripping over and then try and move the hurdles out of the place. Huge. Thoughts?
I like it. I like it a lot. I think I know we've probably covered the whole, I guess,
Spectrum
spectrum, yeah, universe,
is quoting on the spectrum. That's what this is.
Dali
New
universe.
new reality
We've
show.
covered the whole Dali universe around the, I guess, whole quoting front end side of things. And if we want to go back to the conversion rate around it, is I think all of this is going to be applicable around what you're actually converting. So if you're converting really well, you're probably doing some, if not all of the things that we've talked about really, really well. If you're not converting really well, or not converting where you need to be, I think that's a clear sign that something's not happening correctly. I think it's really important to understand that you're dealing with people at the end of the day, and I'm probably maybe a little bit old-fashioned in the sense that people just want to be communicated with. So a lot of the times, a phone call can solve so many issues, so many conversations, or it could be that person is best in an email, which is fine, but it's find that method of communication that works best for the clientele that you're working for, or the clients that you're working for. It'll make things a little bit easier. And I think you don't want to be difficult. If you become difficult to deal with, you're gonna lose people. And I think at various stages in business, I think Crow would probably agree with me a little bit, is that you do experience ups and downs, where you do become difficult to deal with, even though you might not think of it. Hindsight is beautiful. Reflecting is also beautiful. Generally, at the time when you are difficult to deal with, you're like, I'm not difficult, but you are in fact. And it's generally a reflection of that you're really, really busy or something else is going on in your life. But I think if you can bring it back to be like, hey, we're pretty straightforward and pretty easy to deal with. It could be that you have a process, so you maybe have a few staff members or something like that. And it's just a case of, hey, you just need to explain it and communicate it to the key people that you're dealing with to be like, hey, this is what happens. The reason we do it like this is because I'm only one person and I can't do it all on my own. So if you want to wait 3 to 6 weeks to get that quote, that's okay. But the reason I have Robbo helping me out is because Robbo can also get quotes done. So he's going to help out in that sense. And it's to give you a better product at the end of the day. And it's okay to explain it. Like I've been there and explained that to people. Some people love it. Some people aren't going to like it. And that's okay as well. But I think by having the conversation, you know where you stand with people.
Yeah, love it. So conversion rates, 10 out of 10 is good. 10 out of 10 can also be bad. 7 out of 10 is good. I think just try and reflect, stop, collaborate, and listen, as the ever so wise Vanilla Ice repeatedly tells us in his hit single Ice Ice Baby. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, try and take note of what's going on in your business, what's working, what's not working, what's working, do it again, what's not working. Try and make it better.
Refine it.
Try and
Make
refine
a
it
change.
and make a change, two pack style. All right, guys. Peace.
Gotcha.